What's your beef, scoreheads? Murph is waiting to hear from you. The beef lines are now open at 312-644-6767. Only on WSCR. The Score.
What's your beef right around the corner? If I were you, I'd dial quickly. I want to hear your sports beefs. Heck, me, all of Chicago wants to hear your sports beefs. 312-644-6767.
Well, we don't want anybody to miss out, so go ahead. Give us that number one more time.
All right, Freddie, 312-644-6767. Best beefs win a trip to Brown's. Oh, those Italian beefs for lunch, they taste better. Hey, I wanted to quickly say a few words about the Blackhawks and the Sunday television. I was asked by the Score to represent us at a pregame party over there at the United Center, and I had a great time. Got to see some of the advertising executives, some of the other radio, TV guys. Rocky Wirtz put the party on, and quite honestly, trying to re-invite back into the United Center a lot of people that maybe have disappeared. And it was great to see. I saw John Phelan over there from Jack Phelan Chevrolet and his lovely wife. Saw Chicago media executive Mike Hillstrom over at Select Marketing. Got to meet Rockwell Wirtz. He says, "Call me Rocky, Murph." Ro Khan, Chicago radio star, visiting with Ro. Saw Mark Giangreco. Kelly Seaton, advertising executive. Man, there were so many people there. Automobile executive Don McHugh. But what I did was then I drove back home, watched the game on TV. And let me tell you, here's the great thing. The high definition for hockey. I don't know why, but it just seems like it's the best of the TV sports. Now, you've been watching it, maybe agree, maybe disagree, but it just seems like hockey translates better through high def. At home, sitting there in the lazy boy, and thanks to the little guys that put together a TV that actually I was able to figure out how to turn on and turn off. But what the big thing is, and here's what Dad never understood. And Rocky, if you're listening, you know where I'm going with this. You can watch the 41 road games. And when a Blackhawks player scores a goal, and you're watching the game at home, and they're on the road, there's no emotion. There's no crowd noise. There's no excitement. But the thing that will develop and grow new fans is when you're watching the home game and someone scores a goal for the Blackhawks, the place goes nuts, the emotion is there, and that was lost for the last 30 years with the road games only.
Hit him up! Move him out!
We want to know what's bothering you in the world of sports. Give Murph a call at 312-644-6767. That's 312-644-6767. And tell him what's beefing you in the world of sports. What's Your Beef is brought to you by Brown's Chicken Sandwiches and Catering.
What's your beef? It's Murph on the Score, Sports Radio 670. Let's get right to the phone, see what the fans are beefing about today. Let's start right in order. Everyone on hold, right through the line here. Joe on the south side of Chicago. Hello, Joe.
What's up, Murph?
Hey, Joe, you're up. What's your beef, man?
My beef is with the Bears coaching staff for Sunday when Greasy went down. They went back to Grossman instead of giving Kyle Orton a chance. I mean, I'd kind of like to see if Kyle Orton's gotten any better, after having learned the system. And
well, what's your real beef is then, Joe, that they determined during the week. And as you know, your third quarterback is usually a clipboard holder who's not on the active roster. You can only bring him in either A, in the fourth period, or B, if you bring him in earlier, then your other two quarterbacks cannot be used. So your beef is that you feel they should have had Orton as the number 2 guy, not Grossman, so Orton was ready to go.
Yeah, basically.
I love it, Joe. No, basically. No, that was your beef. Let's go now. I know it's a little complicated. I don't even maybe I didn't even have it right. Let's go to, I think I did. Paul from Libertyville. Hello, Paul.
Hey, Murph, what's going on?
Hey, Paul, what's your beef?
My beef is with play calling by NFL teams on the offensive side. When you've got a 3rd and long, why are you throwing a little screen pass for -2 yards?
Well, you know what? One of the great educations is to have the radio on. I agree with you, Paul. And listen to Tom Thayer doing the game along with Jeff Joniak. And Tom Thayer will break down so many of these offensive plays even before the ball is hiked, not always second-guessing, and pointing out why certain plays don't work. And I don't know if Tom Thayer knows what he's talking about, but OB and Buffon, they pretty much are doing the same thing afterwards and on the Jiffy Lube show yesterday, Paul. So the experts tend to agree with you. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Thanks a lot, Paul.
Take care.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it. I love What's Your Beef. I love Browns. Oh, man. Look at 22 minutes after 12 o'clock. You haven't had lunch yet? Swing on by your neighborhood Browns, which is easy to do. There's 50 Browns locations in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana. Lunchtime, the Italian Beefs. These are, I've been telling you for years, the legitimate, real Italian beefs, the way they were when you were growing up as a kid. Your dad tells you about, Grandpa tells you about. How about the Italian sausage at Browns? In Chicago, we have a thing called a combo where you put them both together. Man, I'm getting hungry. Me? You know what I love? Maxwell Street Polish. Bill from Woodstock on the score. Hello, Bill. Oh, Bill's been holding. Bill, call back. We'll leave a line open for Bill in Woodstock. There's St. Charles Ken next. Hello, Ken.
Hey, Murph, how are you, my man?
Oh, I'm fine. You know, you sound in such a good mood. How could you have something to beef about? What's your beef?
Why am I in a good mood? I'll tell you, it's driving me crazy listening to these people that act like we just lost Willie Mays on the north side.
Oh, well, you know what?
Jones is gone. It's have they watched the entire year, the first half what this guy did, and all the games that he gagged for us, whatever good he did?
Well, you know what? I don't want to sit here and talk too much today. We'll have Paul Sullivan join us in a little while, talk about Jock Jones. All I know is this. His market value was almost zero. Now, that tells you something about the other 29 general managers, doesn't it, Ken?
You got it right, Murph, and let's go. It's time to walk ahead and don't look back.
Well, I tell you what, I like your angle. You're going to go to Browns. You know the way to your stomach is through Murph's heart talking about Jock. Hang on. Send Ken from St. Charles over to Browns, would you? Here's the thing, and we'll talk with Sully about this in a little while, Cub fans. Jock Jones was making a very, very low amount of money for a quote-unquote everyday outfielder. $5.5 million. That's extremely low for a productive veteran outfielder. To take him off the Cubs' hands, you couldn't even get straight up. Now think about this. For everyone that thinks Jock Jones had high value, 29 teams, you could not even get Omar Infante even up. You couldn't even get from the Tigers even up a utility man. You had to throw in $2 million. Think about that. You couldn't even get a utility man for Jock Jones without tossing in $2 million. And this guy, Jock Jones, wasn't making all that much money in the big picture for everyday outfielders. Let's go to Steve from Summit on the score. It's What's Your Beef from Browns. Hello, Steve.
Hey, Murph, how you doing?
I'm fine. What's your beef?
It's about Jock Jones again, of course. Just that the Cubs made a bad decision, just like you were just talking about from before.
Mm-hmm.
And, just to get this Omar guy, I mean, it's just like, why do we need him for?
Well, Omar Infante is he's a 25th man. He's valuable in the sense that Lou Piniella loves to, mix and match. The kid can play. He's only 25. Okay. He plays second, third, short, left, center, right. He will never start a game.
Well, all right.
He's a 250 hitter, which is nothing, with a 300 on base, which is nothing. So what he is, he's a roster filler, a typical National League 25th man that every team needs in the National League. And he will be there, and he'll never start, and Lou will get him in on some double switches and defensive moves late in the game.
True.
All right?
All right.
But think about it. All you could get for Jock Jones, you couldn't even get Omar Infante. You had to throw in $2 more million to please take him off our hands. Appreciate your call very much. I'll tell you what, that $2 million they had to chip in, I can hear it right now. Jim Hendry, he went over and said, hey, to John McDonough,
we're sunk and we'll have to pay through the nose, and you know it.
$2 million right out the window to get rid of him.
I've heard of gold dollars, silver dollars, paper dollars, but he says he's going to pay me in, what do you call them, Granny?
$1 million.
Oh, now, hey, we'll get right back to the second round of What's Your Beef? 1 o'clock hour, I got fresh Bears, fresh Bulls. We got Paul Sullivan from the Cubs beat reporter from the Tribune, a little White Sox talk. And I got to see John Phelan Sunday at the Blackhawks ceremonies. You got to see Jack Chevrolet.com. Jack Phelan Chevrolet, Dodge, Suzuki, Isuzu in the western suburbs. How about this? LaGrange, Hinsdale, Western Springs, Burr Ridge, and Indian Head Park. You got it. CJack.com. It's the score. 25 minutes nonstop sports talk. Wow. But what's your beef from Browns? It tastes better. Let's get to the phone line and see what the fans are beefing about from Browns. Bob in Naperville. Hello, Bob.
Hey, Murph, love your show.
Oh, thanks, Bob. I love your beef. What's your beef?
I got a big Browns beef with the Sox management, especially after listening to John DeWan describe Uribe's sparkling fields in the past.
That wasn't because that was supposed to be Uribe's strength.
Exactly, and obviously, they talk about Miguel Cabrera being overweight. They just have to look at their shortstop right now if they want to talk about overweight players.
Well, you got that right. I would imagine Cabrera, they would try to put him into left field and hope that Ozzie could get his fellow countrymen to get on a diet. Of course, it didn't seem to get Uribe. He couldn't get Uribe on a diet, could he?
Exactly. Hope, Murph.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bob.
All right.
Good beef, my friend. Best beefs are at Browns. Hey, did I mention, other than the Italian beefs, Italian sausage, the combo is my favorite, the Maxwell Street Polish. No one even knows where Maxwell Street is anymore. Go to Browns. Is the meatball sandwich. Oh, the meatballs, the toasted French bun, and the marinara sauce. Oh, the meatball sandwich. Bloop. Hey, there goes another meatball. Just fell on Superfan Dan's lap. Missed the silk tie. Lee is in Palatine. Hello, Lee.
Murph, how you doing?
Good, Lee. Hey, what's your beef?
My beef is with the culture we inhabit that glorifies the latest, greatest guy to come along. Let me give you an example.
Yeah, please.
I just heard this morning where somebody was panning Gale Sayers because in his book, he doesn't think that Devin Hester is the greatest thing since sliced bread. You know what? I don't either. Let the guy play for a couple years before we start anointing him. In the meantime, here's a guy who comes off looking like a complaining curmudgeon, yet he was without question the greatest broken field runner of my lifetime.
Well, Gale Sayers is the greatest, and there's a good piece about it in Quick Hits. Elliot Harris today in the Sun-Times. Fred Mitchell, I know, did the writing of the story. And you know what? Gale Sayers is very opinionated, and I believe when many like you and I agree that he's the greatest broken field runner of all time, when you're the greatest, I guess you can have an opinion, right?
Absolutely.
Hang on, Lee. You're going to go visit my friends at Browns. It tastes better. All right, buddy? All right.
Thank you.
Go. Absolutely. Hook up, Lee. I'll bet he goes to Browns and among lunch and picking up some of the great golden chicken for dinner. I bet he says, hey, what about those new jumbo buffalo wings Murph's talking about all the time? 5 great, let me tell you, these are bigger wings, bigger taste than you've ever had. Jumbo buffalo wings at Browns, the 5 great flavors. Hey, they're flying off the shelves. Sorry. At Browns, JD's in Aurora. Hello, JD.
Hey, Murph, how you doing, buddy?
Fine, JD. What's your beef?
My beef is with a lot of Chicago Bears fans. A lot of people out there saying because Rex Grossman came out and threw 1 touchdown that he should be the starting quarterback, but nobody mentioned the fact that the first snap he took, he dropped right to the ground and almost gave it right back to the old Raiders.
Well, you know what? I agree with you there, JD, but the other thing that's sort of confusing and perplexing, worrisome, same thing happened to Greasy early in the game, and I don't know if it's the center, if it's the quarterback, or what's going on, but you'd think by now that they could work that deal out, whoever's at fault, right?
Yeah, I agree, but hey, time will tell. You know, Rex Grossman did it almost every single game he played in this season, so I don't see why. You know, and he can throw the pass downfield. He's always been able to do that. I won't take that away from him, but he can't read a defense. He can't throw short passes. He's just not a good quarterback.
JD, all those are good points, but not to sound like I'm defending him, but it was the first snap after not being in for 5 games. But you know what? He still showed that he continued to do what they used to do. I don't know who's at fault. Hey, JD, great beef, man.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you very much. I got time for 1 or 2 more beefs. Brian's in Lakeview, right there on the north side near Wrigley Field. Hello, Brian.
Hey, Murph. How are you today?
Fine, Brian. You sound, again, in such a good mood. How can you be beefing about anything?
I'll tell you what, on my way to work this morning, Freddie Hubner updated us on a retiring Fire player, and I just started thinking about it. You know, it really annoys me that they have to have press conferences to announce retirement. Why can't these guys just say, hey, I'm retiring, and that be that? They don't have a press conference for me when I retire.
You know what, Brian? You're exactly right. The other thing I've yet to understand, when a manager of a team or a head coach gets the heave-ho,
Yeah.
What's this thing now with the televised press conference? Be it Dusty Baker or right down the line with all the different coaches, managers around sports. You know what? In the old days, the guy'd pack the box up with a few of his belongings and sort of slink out to his car and take off and be wondering where the next gig was. Now they have a press conference. I don't get it. Do you?
Yeah, good luck. Go on to your next thing and get out of here.
Hey, you're a winner. You're going to go to Browns courtesy of Murph. All right, Brian?
Hey, thanks a lot.
Hey, hang on, buddy. Nice job. And our final beef for the day. Hey, you got nothing to beef about with Vuk. Murph's Nationwide Insurance Agent of the Year, Jeff Vukovich. You know, for all your insurance needs. Park Ridge Family Guy, solid 28 years. Vuk is on your side, Jeff Vukovich. Here's Jeff in Deerfield. Hello, Jeff.
Hey, Murph, how you doing?
Fine, Jeff. Jeff, you're my final beefer. Make it a good one.
Murph, I got a big beef right now. How come every time somebody makes a tackle in the NFL, they have to get up and dance? I mean, you give up 15 yards on a pass play, somebody makes a tackle, and they get up and do a celebration dance.
You know what? The only time that's good to me is if it's the last play of the game, you just won the game, and what's even sicker is when they're down. They're down 21-0 in the fourth period. They deflect and knock down a pass, and they dance around like they just won the Super Bowl.
Exactly. Every play. It happens 70, 80 times a game. You got to dance every time?
Hey, you know what? I'm with you, Jeff. Maybe you and I are old school, but I'm with you. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. It's Murph, and it's Browns. It tastes better. Hey, honey, I'm bringing dinner home from Browns. You don't have to do any cooking. You'll be number one in your house tonight.
Thanks for participating in What's Your Beef. Join Murph for another edition of What's Your Beef. What's Your Beef has been brought to you by Brown's Chicken Sandwiches and Catering. All winners of the Mike Murphy Show are only eligible to win prizes once in a 60-day period.